Hello, everybody, and welcome to the October live event. As always, I am Ansel, and with me today is my lovely wife, Crystal.
What's up?
And I'd like to say hello to everybody that is not here because they are at Nightmare Nights. The final Nightmare Nights is going on this weekend. I know we have at least 4 Quill and Bladers there, if not more. So we are going to be having a smaller attendance today, but we do hope people are enjoying their convention and hope to hear lots of exciting stories about it afterwards. Isn't that right, honey?
Yeah, I was paying attention. I was not playing with emoji. I didn't hear what she said.
Yes. Well, it's excellent that she just agreed to the threesome. So let's move on. Okay. So we're going to have 2 little things that we're going to talk about today, and then one big thing. So the 2 things are we're going to do a Veil update, we're going to do a Secrets 2.0 update, and then we're going to do a Q&B RPG update, which is going to be the lion's share because we have done a lot of work. And when I say we, I mostly mean Crystal, but we have done a lot.
It has been a long and very fun but very arduous process.
Indeed. All right. Well, let's start with the Veil update. What do you have for everybody?
What do I have for everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, like,
You got to take the lead on this one because otherwise I got to take the lead on Secrets and then.
Okay. So, Beyond the Veil, I think it has been going pretty well. I'm super thrilled with the reactions, especially in the last chapter and all the theory crafting that has been going on in the comments. Super exciting. I will also say it has been a breath of fresh air to have more or less all the chapters written for the arc. There was a couple hiccups where we got to a chapter and we're like, this needs to be 2 chapters. So it was originally going to be 8, ended up being 10. Turns out, it turned out pretty well, I think. But the chapters where it just had to more or less just be edited was awesome for us because if you don't know, Ansel and I are super busy people. Our jobs are a long commute away and take up a lot of our time. So writing a weekly chapter has become harder for us, and having the chapters already written where we just have to edit and refine, awesome. That said, I have some unfortunate news for those who read Veil. The second arc is not complete. It is not ready for us to start posting the chapters, so there is going to be a small delay after the next chapter, which is the last chapter for this arc. And Ansel was involved in this, so y'all gotta know it's ending on a cliffhanger.
Absolutely. Yep. It will end on a cliffhanger on Monday. The chapter, I think, is quite good. I think the last chapter was exceptional. I was very pleased with the work that we did, and we've got a lot of pre-work done for the next arc, but the actual writing portion has not been done as of yet. So we're going to march on through that once we get past a couple of other little things that we have in the interim, and probably do it over the course of November. We'll see. It just kind of depends.
It especially depends on, drumroll, the Secrets 2.0 work.
Correct. So let's talk Secrets 2.0. Okay, so obviously, as Crystal mentioned, we are far busier than we used to be. I used to be able to do a little writing at work during the business hours during downtime. I don't have downtime during the day anymore. Like I legitimately just don't. So from the moment I get there to the moment I leave, be that 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, 11 hours, or 14 hours as a couple days this week, there's pretty much no writing time. With that said, I am about halfway through. I think I'm on chapter 23, 24, which is roughly almost about halfway. Not quite, but it's close. And I've been really pleased with the product I've been getting out of myself for it. I think when I read back through it, there's some things that I look at and I go, okay, this is really not clear. Like it's not even clear to me, or what was I trying to do here? I don't fully understand. Cleaning a lot of that up, tightening the story up, expanding on things that maybe were incredibly vague before or unclear, and working through all that. So it's getting faster now because as I get to about midpoint, it's clear that my own writing has picked up in quality. And
He keeps unmuting to scold me for the way I'm sitting.
Anyway, so the quality of writing picked up, but earlier chapters I was looking at them going, wow, I've got a lot of work to do. So the story remains the same, but no chapter has gone untouched, and the pacing is also better, and chapters are being moved around. So I really will say that when it's done, I highly recommend giving it a reread, and we'll talk about that more when it's there. But I definitely anticipate being done in November because I'll just buckle down some days on the weekends, and because on the weekends I can typically do 3 to 4 chapters a day at a when I'm in the mood, and usually I am. And then at that point, so once we finish with this arc of Veil, before we start working on the next one, Crystal's going to start her editing process for Secrets, and so she can catch up to me. I'm pleased to say that Nalu has already finished the cover, so that's actually done. Just the final little bit, she's got to adjust it once we know the size of the book, and we'll be doing ordering a little different this time. Basically, we will take orders from you 1 week before we place the order. There will be no pre-orders, waiting, any of that crap. It's literally you place your order on a Monday, we order the following Monday, your book ships the Monday after that, or 2 weeks, depending on how long it takes them. So we're looking at a quick turnaround here. I do anticipate the domestic ones arriving in December, with some of the international ones arriving in December as well. So it will be, quote unquote, your Christmas gift from us. And as always, patrons of a certain level, you do remember that you do get a discount and or a free book. Okay, so let's move on to the big one this week. Admittedly, we have been spending some of our writing time working on Q&B RPG 2.0 because we've been very, very interested in it. It's just been, it kind of goes back and forth. Sometimes we want to do game design, sometimes we want to do writing, and they're different brains. But we have done a lot of work. So I'm going to let Kristen start doing the outlining on the technical side. And so what we're officially calling this is the actual true official Q&B RPG 2.0. I think when you see it, you'll realize this is really different. And then we will be following it up fairly quickly with patch 2.1. So take it away, honey.
So, if you've been around, you've probably seen me talking about the work that I've been doing. At a more technical level that may bore some of you, and I'll try to keep it brief. Originally, all of the RPG data was in JSON files, which when the RPG was basically just a one and done kind of, hey, I'm going to go on an adventure. Okay, done. And it was just back and forth kind of like that. It's totally fine. Well, Ansel and I are, a little bit overachievers. So the scope of the Q&B RPG that patrons have access to grew immensely over the past year or so that it's been going. And so those little JSON files they need to be put down. And that's what I've been doing, is I have been putting them down mercilessly and without remorse. So everything has moved into a MySQL database with a proper API backend, all this cool stuff. It's super awesome. I'm really excited about what it has become and what it now can do, because I've basically broken everything into small components that I can reuse. So a lot of the stuff we want to do is more or less based on the same little pieces of the RPG that you are, as a patron, and for the patrons already know. For the non-patrons, it's really cool. You should maybe consider, chucking $1 our way to get access to it. I have been spending a lot of time on it. So it's, I'll be able to move a lot more quickly on some of the things we want to do because everything is in little functions that I can do. So on a less boring technical high level, some of the stuff we can now look forward to. You guys who are frequent the channel, may have noticed me talking about adding context to Azurite for things like the birthday, setting your birthday. If you say #birthday, she'll ask when is your birthday, and you can just ping her with December 5th, and she understands that you are still talking about birthday. Well, that context has been applied to the RPG for certain things that were very tedious, because for example, to buy a token of generosity, you'd have to do #RPG buy token generosity confirm or whatever. It was a pain. Now everything is context based. You just say RPG shop, that pulls up the shop menu. She asks what you want. You say token. What kind of token do you want? Generosity. Good to go. Nice little hand holding. Another place where the context is being used is character creation. Now, a lot of you already have characters, and that may not seem that appealing to you, but we are adding a token called a friendship bracelet. Everyone will start with one. That'll allow you to have more characters. especially if you're someone who, like me, like I want a Crystal Wishes and a Velvet Step and a High Horse. Now I can do that. It's expensive once beyond the first free one you get, but you can do it. So now the character creation is very context-based and hand-holding, and so much easier than it was before. I'm so sorry for everyone that has already created a character and had to use the old system. It was awful. I'm sorry. Some of the other fun things that we have going on, because it's now all in a database, that frees us up a lot where we were having to arbitrarily balance things. So, for example, we had to have one of each species type so that there was an even distribution of species. Databases allow me to do grouping, so now I can have uneven species, but as far as the distribution counts for the rolling and whatnot, they get grouped up, and it doesn't matter. I don't know how much sense that makes to some of you, but that's really exciting for me because now we don't have to worry about keeping everything in even balance, even keel. Oh, well, if we want to add 1, then we have to add 5 more. We can just add things. We can just add more content for you guys, and it's fun, and it's exciting. Speaking of adding more content, this is another thing you guys won't see, but will make your lives better in the fact that it allows us to do more stuff. There is now a graphical user interface that I, and more specifically Ansel, can use. Instead of having to work in those little JSON files that were basically just like a text file, there's now this whole graphical interface where we can just add things with drop-downs and text boxes, and it's so exciting. I'm like, again, this probably sounds boring to most of you, but it's so exciting for me. As DJ Thomp just said, databases make everything better, and it's so true. Some other things, let me try to think of some of the stuff we've been working on. The adventures. We introduced adventures, and because, again, it was very hard to add new content, we didn't really get very far with them.
Not at all.
We basically got nowhere.
Yeah. We basically, yes. So it was very, very difficult for her to add them, and it was not impossible, but like it was not user-friendly for a non-programmer to add them, and it discouraged me. That has now changed. So because of that, you will find when you start back up that besides a perfect party for Mr. Peepers, so there's 6 adventures currently. You will find that they now go several more quests without me being too specific, and potentially all 6 maybe, depending on where Crystal gets today. And then, and I'm not going to say too much, but since the beginning, pretty much, we've promised we'll call it the main story adventure, as in the canon, what's going on, Q&B story. Well, we're not going to tell you how, but keep an eye out because it's going live when the game turns up. So I highly recommend looking, and it will not function exactly as anything else you've done. It will do something very different, and you'll notice, hopefully. You will hopefully notice, but that is kicking off as well. Let's see some of the other things. Items are now either worn or wielded. So that's a big change, and that's a balance change. So you can no longer have 2 elements of harmony on at the same time because they're worn. So items are either worn or wielded. And,
held. You were close.
Worn or wielded. Wielded is held.
Okay, I guess. Suppose. Okay, fine.
Snark.
Snark, snark, snark.
What else you got, girl?
I will say, so I'm very, very close. I'm going to launch it tonight, and y'all who are around can play. And there are no repair costs on items. Harmony protects your items. You do not need to repair them currently. If anyone wants, I know, I'm sorry, I went into more technical stuff, but I've been coding for weeks now, so that's where my mindset is at. Whereas Ansel can be more friendly and more of the interesting stuff that y'all want to hear. But if anyone does want to talk technical, like I am like so totally ready to chat with someone about the stuff that I've done. Some other things. Trying to think of. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but
the shop has been completely redone and RPG themed.
Yes. So I have been learning how to play with the. I'm trying to think of how to describe it. You do code blocks in Discord chat. The little 3 ticks. You can specify the language that you're typing in. So with Markdown, I've been playing with that to get coloration on the inventory and the shop and whatnot. So everything is really, really pretty now. Like, it's super pretty.
Disclaimer, not on mobile.
Yeah, mobile doesn't. Yeah, mobile is really tiny, and mobile doesn't do the coloring, which makes me really sad because I obsessed over how to get the colors to appear how I want them to. But that can't really fix mobile. I will try to, at some point, I'm not going to focus on this just yet, but yeah, I know it's unfair. But I will say, yes, speaking of inventory, I'm slowly remembering all the things that I've done. You don't have to go through your inventory and scroll through it. I mean, you can because it's pretty, but, you can just say RPG wear kindness, and it would automatically wear your best kindness gear in the 2 slots, taking into account holding and wearing. You can also say for like the confrontations that we have, how, you want to maximize your element as well as your virtue. You would say RPG wear kindness hope, and it will put on your best kindness and your best hope, taking into account if you have a kindness and hope item, it'll prioritize that. It's really cool.
To the best of Azurite's abilities.
Right, yes. I mean, it's not a human. It's doing its best attempt. But it's so far been pretty good when I've been playing with it, and I'm really excited, and I cannot wait to show you guys.
You also no longer have to remove items. You just say, wear the new one, and it takes off the old one for you.
Yeah, that was so dumb. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, you don't got to remove stuff now. It'll just do it for you.
You just wear the new one. So there is that. Confrontations, in the short term, we're upping the rewards to make them viable. In the long term, we're going to reduce those type of rewards because there will be new rewards, but I'll start talking about 2.1 here in a minute once we finish through on everything that she's added, because there's still more to this actually.
Yes. Sorry, guys. I should have I started writing the changelog. It's going to be posted on Patreon. It'll be a public post. I'll link it in chat. That has all the new stuff. I'm trying to remember everything. Boons. There had been a request to be able to see all the boons, even the ones that you aren't eligible for yet, so that you can kind of know, when I'm level 20, I can get this, so I want to, whatever. You can just do RPG boons, and it'll list all of them. It'll show, it'll have a little check mark next to the ones you've already got. It'll have the little crossed out O thing against ones that you can't have, ones that are like mutually exclusive, such as the specializations. It'll tell you the prerequisites, so like very lucky requires lucky, so it'll tell you that. So that boons list had been requested, and now that I have the database that lets me have easier access to all this data, it's all good. You got it. You guys got it. Character management. So I mentioned the friendship bracelets. You do RPG friends because these are your friends.
Yes. So basically, your pony goes to the Sapphire's Hoard, which is what the shop's called now. And if anyone remembers where that is, bonus points to you. And you can buy friendship bracelets. Friendship bracelets scale up very quickly. And I do recommend keeping maybe a character slot open in the future, although definitely have fun with your second one. Because the second one's free. We're not charging, and the third one's pretty inexpensive actually. But you will be able to change active character. Now, for the record, inactive characters do not gain tokens. They do not do anything. They're asleep. But basically, every friendship bracelet you buy unlocks another friend. So as Crystal pointed out, her main character could be Crystal Wishes, but then she could also have Velvet Step and do different things with her.
That sounded dirty.
Only when you do that.
Oh, I'm trying to think. I know there's more. I'm really excited about the context stuff. Like, I've been playing with it. So, like, again, please consider using your free friendship bracelet to create a new character, to see the new character creation. Is really cool.
Indeed. Another reminder, if you do have bugs, please put in the actual bug ticket instead of pinging Crystal and driving her nuts at work. And also, please be kind about bugs. This is, again, for fun. Just a reminder. I'm trying to think. There were a couple more quality of life things that went in. Temporarily, I will say this. The old achievement system is going to be destroyed. So that will not exist anymore. Where we have decided that we want achievements to actually be achievements. So tripping over a rock is not an achievement. Climbing Mount Everest is. So there will be far fewer achievements. And but for 2.0, achievements are basically gone. Let's see here. What other quality of life things did we add?
I'm sure there's more that I am forgetting to talk about right now. But I think that more or less covers things. So that's general quality of life. So when you were, that's 2.1 Erie, don't get ahead of us. When you were doing things like wanting to go to the shop. So when you go to the shop, it details everything. So it tells you exactly, instead of having to, okay, I want to buy an inventory, you do RPG inventory or RPG buy inventory. And it tells you, okay, that'll cost this much. It was a mess. Now it's all one screen that tells you what you currently have, what it's going to cost to go to the next thing, and if you can afford it. So like it'll tell you right there. You don't have to worry about doing math or going to your character sheet, which is a little bit upgraded. The character sheet has gotten an upgrade.
Yes. So yes, the store is massively different. Like that's amazing. Well, character creations too. So really, it does. When you guys see it, it's going to be really impressive. So I highly recommend once we get it live today, everybody hop on and do that. So with that in mind, let me talk about our direction for 2.1. So we're not gonna overpromise for 2.1. We're going to keep it a small, tight thing and go from there. So let's talk about big features for 2.1. All right, so the first one is we are going to have what's known as expeditions. And expeditions are 2-player and or potentially more, but initially it's just going to be 2-player because there's no reason why now we can't build it to multiple players. But 2-player to begin with. And you and a friend are going to go explore a part of the Quill and Blade universe. When you pick the place you want to explore, you will then find yourself in one of between probably 5 and 8 sub areas, and all sub areas will be different. When you do this, each of you will make a roll, and your reward will vary depending on your number of successes, be that 2, 1, or 0. What?
I'm sorry, Mango is just like freaking out right now.
Oh, yeah. So now, expeditions are not going to award the standard items that you get today. That's fine and all, but we have plenty of that stuff. What expeditions are going to reward you with are going to be what we're going to know as crafting components. Crafting components are going to eventually, and probably not in 2.1, but eventually allow you to create items of your own choosing. So that's, but we're just going to work on the expeditions for 2.1, which will basically start to give you those components. We will also be putting in something we like to call vouchers. So the way that the vouchers work are when you get an actual achievement, like you actually achieve something worthwhile in the game, and they're specific things, you will be given a voucher for Sapphire's Hoard. When you get a voucher, you can take it to Sapphire's Hoard and exchange it for a unique item. So one example would be, and I will go ahead, just so you have a clear thing. If you complete all of a perfect party for Mr. Peepers, you will get a voucher, and one of the voucher item choices will be Mr. Peepers' bubble chest. So that's one of the things that you can do. Now, due to the way the system is built now, these items can now do things that old items couldn't do. So for instance, perhaps Mr. Peepers' bubble chest, every time you happen to have it wielded or held and you use it, there might just be a chance that you kick off a confrontation. That is something we can do now. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, although that is kind of funny because Mr. Peepers is pretty confrontational with his on again, off again relationship with Diver Pony. So that's the sort of thing that you're going to look at with vouchers. So again, for 2.1, we are looking at definitely expeditions, definitely vouchers, definitely new achievements, and potentially crafting. But crafting components will go in so that you can start working on them and on your items to be. As with certain things, the way this is going to work is it's meant to eat up a lot of bits out of the system, but let you highly customize what you want to make. And that's kind of the way of it. So held items are element of harmony items. Worn armor type items are virtue of harmony items, and accessories are a little of both, which are also worn, but it's specializing versus generalizing. These things will allow you to pick exactly what you want, name it what you want, get it to be the type of weapon you want or armor, and you'll really be able to have a lot of extensibility once we get there. What else are you thinking about there, honey?
I was just going to say, this is, again, slightly more of a technical aspect, but that's the world that I live in. There is now, one of the fun things about the database is there's just a table of bonus types. It's just this large pool of every kind of bonus, including the lucky bonus, the thrifty bonus, token bonuses, everything, element bonuses, virtue bonuses. So now everything pulls from the same bonus pool, which does, like he said, mean that we can do really fun things with item bonuses now. So certain items can now actually have really specialized or really unique bonuses. It's really exciting. Please be excited.
Please be excited.
I've worked really hard on this.
No, I know. I understand. Okay, so that is what we're promising for 2.1. I think we can definitely achieve that. We're definitely going to see a faster release cycle now that it's in the way of this. And I can also manage these things on the back end without having to do any kind of coding. So let's turn our heads to the live event questions.
Sure. But yes, while he pulls up live event questions, to emphasize, there will be bugs because this has been multi-weeks of effort going into converting it over and basically just entirely rewriting it. I have learned so much from the first time I tried, and I'm sure in about a year from now I'll look back at what I'm currently doing and be like, holy hell, that was a terrible idea. Why did I do that? So, there's going to be bugs. Just log a bug report. It's all cool. I don't need to know about it directly. I really don't.
All right. So, first question for Crystal. It's what's the end to hopes, but I think it's when are you going to get around to hopes?
Well, I can answer both of those questions. The end to hopes is that they all die. The end.
Sounds right.
When do I get around to it? So I have it. I do have, it's 10 chapters left? I have 10 chapters left. I have it outlined. I have all the chapters named. I've been excited on Veil, and B, in particular, I've been doing this Azu RPG thing. Now that the RPG is probably going to wind down a little bit because I'm not massively rewriting huge swaths of code, I'm going to try to get some Hopes chapters out there just so people don't think it's dead, because it's not. I will finish it. I saw shinies, and I had to follow the shinies.
Fair enough. And you are also asked, can you lend me a writer's?
No.
And of course, FICO wants to know why we're not at his wedding reception, which was, he asked this question about 10 days.
No, I think he was. I think he's literally having his reception today. I think he's literally getting married today.
Oh.
The answer is because I'm a terrible friend and I still haven't sent him. Oh my god, it's been months. Months ago, I told him I was going to send him a wedding favor from our wedding from 2013. I still haven't done it, babe. When we are done with this live event, we are putting that in a package and some extra stuff because I promised this him months ago.
That's fine. We've got to clean up the mango area, though. It's disgusting.
That's fine. Fine. We'll clean up Mango's area, and then we're going to mail FICO a present because he is so kind. And he's I think he's one of the people I have known the longest of all of you.
Indeed. All right. Nightfire asks, in your opinion, who has had the best friendship lesson?
I presume we are talking about the Canon Main 6?
Yeah, I think so.
I honestly have identified the most, and probably for obvious reasons, with Fluttershy, so her friendship lessons stick out the most to me. My ideal best friendship lesson that I want my future kid/kids to know is the one where she tried to do the scaring them for Nightmare Night, which is apt that Nightmare Night is coming up, pure coincidence. But the lesson of that one, that it's okay to not like what your friends like. And she gave it a shot, right? That's the important thing, is that she tried what they like. She didn't enjoy it. And they're okay, and they're still friends, and that's totally fine. That's my favorite friendship lesson from the show.
It's a very good one. I would say, what's my favorite friendship lesson?
I don't know.
Mine would have to be
Rain cloud.
Rain Cloud.
Is that really what you're going to go with? That's not a friendship lesson.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Rain Cloud saved the day. They treated him like crap, and he saved the day.
Yeah, no, that's a terrible friendship lesson.
Die for your friends?
Yeah, that's a terrible friendship lesson. Okay, we're just going to skip you.
Fine.
Lord Legion asks, in Beyond the Veil, who does the art of the rough sketches at the beginnings of the chapters? That would be our beautiful painted wave, Nalu, my soul bae. I love her. She's done an amazing job with them. Also, will we see any art of the characters from Beyond the Veil? Yes, yes, we will. I just need money to commission them. Well, money and my Nalu's time.
Okay. So next question. How did Ansel gain the military knowledge he uses in his stories? Did he use online webpage or something else? Ansel gained that knowledge from being a military contractor for about half a decade. I worked in very, very, very close proximity with both uniformed and non-uniformed service members at a number of bases, both Air Force and Army, for a very long time. I grew up in a military town outside a military base and went through a lot of that. So that is how I learned. And then, of course, I do a little research here and there when I need to, and then I adapt for my story as necessary. But mostly just practical experience, being around contractors, being around soldiers and airmen and whatnot. Crystal.
That question is paused because Ferocious Creation reached out and said that they were going to be late and to try to hold off on that question in the hopes that they could arrive.
Just joined.
Oh my gosh! That was perfect timing! Oh my god! Okay, you may ask it now.
I was reading a chapter in Crystal's Wishes named Letters of Love. About 3/5 of the way through, I came across an interesting comment Crystal Wishes made when talking to Sunset. The problem is I want to write too much. I keep writing scenes and chapters that I'm not sure will be interesting to any pony, so most of my writing is a waste. I care so much about this story that I want it to be perfect. What was this a swing at yourself because of the heavy amount of normal life stuff you had to your first installation?
Oh yeah. No, I was totally making a little fun at myself. Also, less okay, yes, fun at myself, but also it's a thing that happens a lot when you write slice of life that you can tend to want to just include everything. Well, actually, you know what? I think this extends to all genres, so I take that back. This is a thing that happens a lot, where especially if you are, someone like me who is a meandering writer, you just want to include everything. And when I go back through Crystal's Wishes, I'm like, is there anything I can take out? And the answer is yes, but I don't want to because I love it all. I have no advice for anyone else who suffers from this. I mean, the what's it called? I want to say genre advice, but that's not right. Career.
The traditional advice is kill your baby.
Exactly, that's what I was going for. Kill your baby. I can't. I just love it too much. Our beloved Posted asks, oh wait, I see a ping. Yeah, meanders. No, not apparently I've been misquoted by Octavia Harmony as someone like me who is a Neanderthal. Yeah, Octavia, you know what? You're lame. So, next question. From a less lame person. Posted. How has writing and posting asynchronously changed the experience? What do you enjoy about this new method, and what do you miss? Babe, do you want to speak to this?
I will go first and say, what do I miss? Nothing. I miss nothing. I guess the only thing I might remotely miss is you get a little bit more feedback a little bit more often. But truthfully, I don't, because I look at what we did before, and you make a lot of sacrifices and compromises as a writer when you have to turn out something every week versus when you have time to finish everything first and then go back through. So seeing at how well I'm doing rewrites plus working through Veil this way, I would say I don't miss anything. Now, what do I enjoy? The big thing is I enjoy getting to think about things longer, and as we get through further chapters, going, you know what, this would be better, or we get new ideas that we can then go back and put in as we have our little back and forths. So it's improved the story dramatically as we've had more time to storyboard, more time to talk, more time to work together. So I would say that's what I like the most. How about you, honey?
I also don't miss anything. Like, this is my new way to be. Pretty much once Hopes is done, I am never writing a serial in the style of serial again. This is so awesome. It's so much less stress. Like, tomorrow I'm going to pull up the last chapter for this arc of Veil. I'm just going to do some light, some editing and refining. And I'm going to be, and that's it. I don't have to stress about, I'm not going to make the deadline because it's awesome. So I highly recommend this. I understand as someone who is a very validation seeking kind of person. I completely understand I want to post the chapter now and I want people to see it now and I want to get comments on it now. But honestly, this is so much less stressful. It's amazing. It's true.
What's funny is she now gets that validation from the back and forth with me for the most part, because if I'm behind, she loses interest.
Yes, that's also a thing. So Veil, part of the reason why Veil has been sitting in just kind of beyond the void for so long is because I wrote the first chapter, I got to the second chapter, and Ansel was very understandably, not blaming him, busy with his own story trials and busy with his own work, that I was just like, well, I don't really want to get too far on this without, working with him and getting his input and insight into this. So it just kind of sat at the first chapter for a while. And the moment that he freed up to start looking at things and was just like, this first chapter is your best writing ever, I was like, here's 7 more.
Pretty much. So, yeah, we tore through it. And I feel like we'll be able to do the same for the second arc once we, off your knees, once we get,
Damn it.
once we get through secrets and finishing up on this Azu stuff.
As a small interlude teaser about Veil, the second arc will introduce a... No. You guys stop. Introduce a entirely new species that I am super excited for y'all to meet.
It's going to be fun. I would say like the next arc is in a way going to be the comedy arc. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'd say there's some, well, it's kind of hard to say that after the first arc ends, but
well, okay, that's fair. I will say this one will have the most comedy. Let's go with that. It's not the comedy arc. It will have the most comedy, and I think people will truly, truly enjoy it.
Yeah, try to hopefully keep that little behind the scenes tidbit in mind when you read the next chapter. Because shit get real. Stormtail asks, moving on, have you watched the My Little Pony movie? My Little Pony the movie. Whatever that thing is called that we have not watched.
We have not. We've been so crazy busy lately, we haven't had the chance to go see it. I wanted to see it in movie theaters and actually pay for it so that they would be rewarded and say, oh, we should make more pony movies. I don't even know if it's in our theater anymore, so now we got to catch it on Netflix or wherever it releases when it do. So yeah, we're avoiding every spoiler like the plague, and we don't really know anything about it. And well, I don't know. Crystal doesn't care about spoilers, but I don't know anything about it other than that there's a broken horn unicorn, and that's it. That's all I know, and that's all I want to know, and that's why we have the spoiler channel, and that's that.
Yeah. I know a little bit just because I, as a lot of you may know, I have 8,000 notifications on DeviantArt at any given time, and I try to bring it down, but it never works. So I see a lot just from going through my DeviantArt notification feed. But it's okay. There's still a lot that I don't know about the movie, an extraordinary a lot I don't know about the movie, so I'm pretty excited to experience it fairly blind.
And on that note, we've been watching, we watched through the 4th season of Voltron, highly recommended. And we've been watching Troll Hunters, which is also really good. And we just started Stranger Things.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence about Stranger Things, if only because it is not spoopy, it's spooky. And I'm a delicate flower.
All right, Crystal, what's your favorite part about writing fan fiction?
My favorite part about writing fan fiction. It has a built-in audience. I mean, really.
That is a perk. So I will say that is a perk, right? Because if you try to do original fiction, your odds of readership are incredibly low. So getting any kind of feedback, positive, negative, whatever, is just not there. So that is a nice feature of it, and I think that's something that she enjoys. What's interesting is Beyond the Veil is about as close to original fiction as you can get on film. And what I like about it most is when we started, I told Crystal, I was like, this will be the best thing we've ever written to date, and that will get the least amount of attention. And that has actually been the truth. Doesn't bother us. We knew it going in, and we're very proud of what we've done. But yeah, it's just kind of funny. So the other thing that I think is great about fan fiction is community. Basically communities ruin things and communities make things, and the Quill and Blade community is a really tight, good community, and I think we do a real good job at that and curating it, and so that makes it good to me. Whereas like the general film fiction community, I think can ruin things a lot. No offense, I'm just saying. There's great parts of it and there's horrible parts of it, but I think in general the community is pretty good.
I will also say, just as writing fan fiction is also a pretty good foundation for going into writing more original fiction, because you can take a lot of world building for granted while writing fan fiction. So like, again, Wishes versus Veil. I feel like you could not know a darn thing about My Little Pony and still read Veil. Whereas Wishes, I had a friend who tried to read it that didn't know anything about My Little Pony, and they were just like, I don't know what half of the stuff that's going on is. And I'm like, well, it's a cutie mark. Like, it's just this thing that appears on their butt. But it's good for, learning how to world build. So, moving on. Playbits, our darling Australian, asks, I know this is cutting it close. I don't know what's cutting it close. We're good. Oh, this was today. That's why it's going to get close. But when you first had the idea for memoirs and Crystal's Wishes/Hopes, how did you guys piece everything together? Writing a story can be a bit overwhelming since it's so hard to find the best way to start and not trip on yourself as you write. Any tips? We did a whole panel about this.
Yes, we definitely did a whole panel about this.
Well, sort of.
Sort of. Not specific this, which hopefully one day we will get the video of. One day, maybe. So I would say this, in our case for plot, I determined the main plot and Crystal followed the main plot. So then at that point, adding any of the events that she added did not detract, it only added to that, and she didn't have to worry about going foul. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I am not someone who is very confident with world building and whatnot. I'm better now, I think. Especially working on Veil, has given me more confidence. There is still a lot that behind the scenes that Ansel was like, what about this? I'm like, shit, that's so good. How are you so good at this? But he definitely, in the beginning, took almost entirely the lead on the world and direction of the plot. And I was just like, she goes to school and she has friends. That was me.
Fairly accurate.
That's pretty much exactly how, anyone who's read Wishes, that's how it starts.
Yeah. So, that's the big thing. The other thing with tips, for that is, if you have two people that do world building and main plot, you need to definitely have a good understanding of each other and kind of an agreed, I don't know, what would you call it? Like rules of engagement? Is that fair?
Yeah, rules of engagement. Like, just basically make a prenup.
Pretty much, yes. So that's a big thing for it. You just kind of have to understand. So that's a good tip. So the more communication, the better. Equal partnership, play to each other's strengths. And I think that's the summation of an hour panel, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I'd say the stuff in the panel definitely applies to what tips we would give. But as far as, like, how did we start out? I followed. But I followed at, like, a skipping, frolicking pace.
Is fair. All right, let's see here. Okay. So who is your favorite ship and why is it Twifire? So who is your actual favorite ship?
My favorite ship is obviously Crystal Step. Best ship, hands down.
It's true.
Hooves down.
It's true. You can grab it by the pony. I think that's my favorite ship too. I think that's the one that makes the most sense of any of them. Like that would actually work out. Um, Possibly beyond that. Let's see here. And I mean, if you're gonna hold me down to the show, I find um, Rara Jack amusing. Like they're so different, and it's no, I like this, no, I like that, and then suddenly they're kissing. I could see that happening. Um, so that's
Ooh.
what.
If I had to think show, I have a soft spot for Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash because it's like, why is Rainbow Dash in Ponyville? Anyone? Like, there's no real reason for her to have gone there other than Fluttershy went there. Because everything about her characterization tells me that she should be in Cloudsdale.
That's true. That is true. You can definitely grab that by the pony.
So I think my favorite canon character ship would most certainly be what would they be? Flutterdash.
Dashy Shy.
Dashy Shy. Oh my god, yes.
I think it is Flutterdash for the record, but
Whatever.
yeah.
It's Dashy Shy now.
Okay. Let's see here. Who is your favorite world building person in the fandom and outside the fandom? I think outside the fandom for me would be Jim Butcher. Inside the fandom, I haven't read anything in 2 years because I barely have time to do my stuff. So I'm going to say me.
Wow. Oh, let me think. Outside the fandom is easy for me. Piers Anthony. He is my favorite world building person. As far as series writing person, not so much, because like if anyone is familiar with Piers Anthony, it's like first book, amazing. Second book, still good. Third book, why are you still writing? Yeah, he like a third book and beyond, it just always peters out. It just always drops in quality. But the world building of them are fascinating.
And he likes the titties.
Oh, he loves titties, so you know I love these books.
She said it. Okay.
Oh, but inside, I wish I read enough to have a wide variety that I could choose from. But I will say some stories that I have enjoyed reading. I mean, it's not fair because you asked this, Greg, Kara, Zomagod, whatever I'm supposed to call you these days. I don't freaking know. But you have some really fun world building, especially with your changelings. I do enjoy your changeling world building. I have almost finished, but have really enjoyed the very steampunk elements, and I also like steampunk, so that's a plus of Mr. Numbers' mare that once lived in the moon. I swear I've been reading it. The fact that I can't remember the title exactly is not indicative of my reading or enjoying. Just the fact that I'm terribly forgetful. But I've really enjoyed the steampunk, and also just the translation of the characters into that. Like when I met Pinkie Pie, like it broke my heart. Spoilers-ish, I guess.
Okie dokie. What is your greatest motivation behind writing?
My greatest motivation? Honestly, having something to do with my bae.
Yep, that is pretty much mine as well. I would not be doing it still, or maybe have ever gotten really anywhere without it being a shared hobby between myself and my spouse. We are super codependent people, and there are very few things that we don't do together. So, like, a Crystal only activity is she likes trashy movies and beautiful boys, and I like miniature war games and mango tossing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, I really like y'all. I'd maybe do like one or two stories that are plaguing me to finish it. But if Anza was just like, I'm out, I'm done, screw you all, lighting a fire to it all and walking away, I'd be like, okay, guys, well, here's this, bye.
Okay. So next question. Will there be a respect token for current characters out there so we can change up a race choice into something we might have wanted to do in the old, but can now do in the... okay. So to answer that question, initially, no, not that we're against it. We have no problem with that. Nothing we're doing currently would be like you'd go back and want to regret a choice enough, but like there might be like a boon reset, so that's not a big deal. And the other thing in the short term is if you want a different race choice, that just needs to be a new character. So there's no intention of going back and doing that. Because the goal is to encourage people to make other characters with their little friends and whatnot, and try different things without it just being a constant respec. And there'll be new ways to do stuff and things of that nature. So, but yeah, for boons and stuff, I don't see why not. When we get there.
Hold up, I'm baying.
Hmm?
I'm baying in chat. Mystic Messenger has come up. I don't really care anymore. Oh my god, F still has the little emoji. I love it. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna care now. Let's see, what's next? Ansel. Hey, Ansel. Do you play Dark Souls?
I do not. I almost never play video games anymore. Most of my games I play are on my cell phone because it's the most portable and often had thing. I will occasionally play Final Fantasy 14, and by occasionally I mean I pay for a monthly subscription and maybe play once a month. Um, and yeah, so no, nope. I have what they traditionally call stupid fingers, and I don't play too many twitchy games. Although I do have the new mini SNES to play when I have some time someday. All right, so Crystal's clearly done.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm paying attention now. I love Mystic Messenger, and screw anyone who judges me for it, because I love Mystic Messenger. Which pony would be the most tolerable to spend time alongside? Oh my god. Snips, Fleetfoot, or Sven Gallop? Holy cannoli.
I don't even know who Sven Gallop is. Should I?
If I recall correctly, Sven Gallop was the restaurateur. Can someone give me a little help here?
I'm going with Fleetfoot.
Was this most or least?
Most tolerable.
Most. No, I can't handle Snips.
No, I can't either. Like, I would just end up punching Snips right in the face.
Oh, Sven Gallop was Coloratura's manager. Yeah, he was a jerk.
Sticking with Fleetfoot.
I'm gonna stick with Fleetfoot. Like, I don't know enough about Fleetfoot's in-show characterization to have a intolerable feeling towards. So I'm gonna go with Fleetfoot.
I think it's her voice and her dialogue in general, but yeah, it's gonna be Fleetfoot. Okay. On a serious note, what tips do you have for outlines?
I'm terrible at them.
That's true. She's not terrible, but she doesn't like them, and she doesn't work well to them.
Yeah, that's my problem. Is like, so there is a really, really good quote that I'm just gonna go ahead and just butcher. Yeah, pro tip: don't be Crystal. The struggle with writing outlines is the view of a scene looks quite different from the outside than it does from the inside. That's a butchering of a quote that I think is actually by Piers Anthony. But basically, like, I will have the idea of how the stories are going to go and the chapters are going to go and how the characters are going to feel. And when I get into it, that's not how they... So, for example, like, any scene that has Lovey in it, I can't outline or figure out how that's going to go. She legit just writes herself. I cannot plan her. She is a force. She is not a character.
Exactly. That's the same way that I can't always know exactly what Dream Pop's going to do. But so for outlining, as someone that does outline, and I would say outline successfully, the vaguer the better. Outlines are not meant to be forms that you then later use to fill in with text to make your chapter. That's not what they're for. Outlines are used to remind you of important plot points, important things. So what I do is I have a couple of tiers of outlines, the highest being what is the total story plot, then what is the arc plots and things that need to happen, and then what are my goals for a chapter. I do that, and then I work to those outlines. I also think that's why maybe Crystal's not as successful with them as she wants to be, is because sometimes her outlines are like rough drafts. But yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah, I just don't outline well.
All right, so now that we've immersed ourselves in the culture of Arabs, would you visit Saudi Arabia or another country in another region? Well, considering Kristen would be basically a pet there, I would say yes, as long as we went together, because we'd just hang out. Because as a penis owner, it's a pretty cool place.
Wow.
Yeah. So, no, I don't know that I would go to Saudi. I would go to Kuwait. I would go to Dubai, but there's some crazy Saudi. You can, especially if you're a woman, you can real quick there. And language. Didn't realize that. Forgot where I was. Yeah. I do Kuwait, but I don't know that I do Saudi, and I don't know, and I certainly wouldn't want Crystal to go to Saudi.
Yeah. Yeah. If I were to go to that area, I would probably want to do a tour with, because they have, it's a non-authentic experience in reality, but it's slightly catered to people who are willing to spend the money for it. But I probably would invest the money in doing like a Bedouin experience, because their culture fascinates me, because obviously that's what I've read a ton about. And the little, like, have an authentic Bedouin experience. It's not quite authentic, but it's cool enough.
All right.
But I would not go alone.
Yeah. All right, gang. Well, that puts us at about an hour, and that answers our questions and the things that we wanted to get out. So I think instead of just pushing on for another hour and rambling on, we're going to clean up the mango, we're going to decorate for Halloween, and then we're going to finish up 2.0 and get it launched today. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. I hope you had a good time. Our next live event will be obviously in November. That will probably be the secrets announcing, or rather the announcing of shipping. We'll see how that goes depending on when we schedule it. Otherwise, everybody have a safe and happy Nightmare Night. We hope you enjoy yourselves, and we will see you all again soon. Thank you for reading. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.